That was the question. But he spoke about
Bro,
respect.
she fucking sucks. She is absolute dog shit every time I've seen her here. Like, what does she even do outside of this, first of all? And secondly, every time I've seen her here, she's just kind of been a bit shit, basically. And then on top of that as well, she's black. I obviously don't care about the fact that she's black, personally. But is it plausible, especially with reform, you know, surging in the polls? Is it possible to have a Conservative Party led by a black woman that is going to be successful in an election? I don't buy it, personally.
And where was he? He hid for 6 days without commenting on the Supreme Court judgment. Why did it take him so long to respond?
Oh my God. I mean, to be honest with you, he probably had other things going on. Okay? We're currently in the midst of some sort of trade thing with America. I've not really caught up on that recently. That's obviously been quite difficult. You know, Crane's ticking along. Israel, Palestine, there's probably some shit happening there. I don't fucking know. Other issues facing us. I'm not sure if, you know, commenting on the Supreme Court decision is necessarily at the top of the agenda when it comes to Keir Starmer's diary, personally. I think there's probably other affairs to attend to.
Isn't it because he was scared?
Yes. Mr. Speaker, the only fiction here is the idea she delivered anything in office. She held the post of Minister for Women and Equalities for 2 years.
Oh,
and she did
going
precisely nothing.
Let's
she
go.
Provided no clarity
lazy black. Dude. This lazy black bitch did nothing when she was in office. Yes, go! Raceoid Starmer.
Did nothing to improve women's lives, which got materially worse under her watch. They talk, for example, about hospitals and mixed-sex wards, uphill and down-dale. What happened in the last decade? The use of mixed-sex wards in our NHS rose by 2,000%. And there's a pattern of behaviour here. Women and Equalities Minister failed to do anything for women. The Trade Minister, who failed to get a trade deal with the US. The Business Minister, who failed to get a deal with British Steel. She's a spectator, not a leader.
Mr. Speaker, I will tell him what I did. I stopped the gender... I will.
Oh, getting mugged.
Yes. When his Labour leader in Scotland was whipping his MSPs to get male rapists into women's prisons, I stopped that gender recognition bill.
Hey!
I helped commission the Cass review. I replaced the guidance on single-sex toilets. I made sure that the puberty blockers issue was resolved while he was sitting there cheering on the ideology that was taking away safe spaces.
Oh, okay, she's got him there.
When the Prime Minister stayed silent last week, presumably waiting for what Morgan McSweeney thinks, on his WhatsApp groups, some of his closest ministers were plotting to overturn the Supreme Court decision. Labour MP after Labour MP stood up yesterday and challenged the ruling. How can we take his government seriously on this?
Well, I think the WhatsApp group should be worried about is the one of his shadow Justice Secretary. Mr. Speaker, the mask has slipped just 1 week before the elections because the Shadow Justice Secretary is not here, a man who's doing everything he can to replace her. The man that most of them want as leader of their party has admitted that Reform and the Tories are working together.
Oh, bombshell moment.
Fight to be united. He said he's determined to bring this coalition, he calls it, together one way or another. Well, I think we know what that means. Every Tory voter is appalled at the thought of paying for the NHS. Every Reform voter who hates what the Tories did in the last 14 years.
Together.
They're not Conservatives, they're a con.
Who's playing political football now?
Hey, let's go!
He's got no answers, Mr. Speaker. He's got no answers. Yesterday, Labour MP after Labour MP challenged the ruling. He should be more worried about his backbenchers.
But she's a spectator, not a leader. Goes hard AF.
Yes, dude, I'm telling you, Starmer's, you know, a couple of little slip-ups there. But he is, I think he, every single time I've watched one of these, he just always seems to have the upper hand. I don't know. She gets a few jabs in. But honestly, I think, what's that guy's name? Robert Jenrick. I think he'd be a far better leader for the Conservatives at the moment than she is. I mean, she just doesn't really do anything. you know, she doesn't really do. She's just kind of like an amorphous blob of nothing. I feel like she's just kind of a bit boring.
The My Front Benchers. His Labour ministers called the chair of the Equality and Human Rights Commission appalling. Baroness Faulkner's role is critical to enforcing the court's judgment. She has had to put up with relentless abuse.
Use the word, Starmer. Use the words.
Activists and ideologues. Reappointing her will be a clear sign that he is taking this issue seriously. So,
Robert Jenrick, the guy who painted over murals in a processing centre for children seeking asylum. I mean, listen, it's the nasty party, isn't it? That's the whole point of what they're doing. I mean, to be honest with you, they probably like that. They probably love that over on the right wing side.
So will he commit to reappointing Baroness Faulkner when her term expires this year?
Yeah. Well, Mr. Speaker, I've always said the debate should be conducted properly on the principle of debate. I've said it many, many times. But I would remind the Leader of the Opposition...
Stop laughing at him! Stop laughing at him now! Stop laughing at my Starmer now!
Highs, rape prosecutions fell to record lows, and millions of women were left stuck on NHS waiting lists, unable to get the health care that they needed.
Stop bullying him!
This Labour government, NHS waiting lists down by more than 200,000, domestic abuse specialists in 999 control rooms. We've strengthened access to maternity pay, something she calls excessive. She talks about political footballs, but a coalition between Reform and the Tories being formed behind her back. We know what that means when the Shadow Justice Secretary and the member for Clacton cook up their joint manifesto. NHS charging a pro-Russia foreign policy, end to workers' rights.
Hey.
Just as the Labour government lost control of the economy, the borders and health, in 6 short months, she's lost control of her party.
Mr. Speaker, he's clearly so uncomfortable talking about this subject. Yes. This is a choice between a Conservative Party that stood up for common sense and a Labour Party that bent the knee to every passing fad. This is a question about moral courage, Mr. Speaker, about doing the right thing even when it is difficult. And the truth is, he doesn't have the balls.
The thing is, it is true. That, you know, the difficult, obviously people look at all the negatives of Labour and I get that, right? But it is true that I'm pretty sure that like waiting times and stuff have come down. There has been quite a positive impact, I think, from what I've seen. I saw something about it, I can't remember where. So, you know, let's focus on some positives at least. Come on now. But she got him there, to be fair.
Fad. This is a question about moral courage, Mr. Speaker, about doing the right thing even when it is difficult. And the truth is, he doesn't have the balls. The Prime Minister only tells people what they want to hear. He only tells people what they want to hear. He is a weather vane who twists in the wind. He cheered an ideology that denied safe spaces to women and girls because he thought it was cool to do so. He hounded a brave female MP out of his party for telling the truth he accepts now. And now he is hiding behind the Supreme Court judgment. And isn't that because he doesn't know what he actually believes?
I can only assume that sounded better when she did it in the mirror earlier on. But the truth is, it doesn't really matter what the Leader of the Opposition says, because nobody believes, none of them, that she's going to lead them into the next election anyway. It's going to be the Shadow Justice Secretary. He's away plotting, that's why he's not here today, Mr. Speaker. And the member for Clacton fighting over the bones of the Tory party. And they think Reform are going to give them their votes without changing their policy. Absolutely no way. The member for Clacton's going to do what he always does, eat the Tory party for breakfast.
Hey! Dude! That was quite a good line. That was a banger. That was a banger, dude. He keeps mentioning Farage and Reform. Well, yeah, because it's massively in his benefit for the Conservatives and Reform to be at each other's throats. Dude. Oh my god, dude, look. Hey, let's go. Eating the Tories for breakfast. He's out of Keir Starmer as well. Okay, that's pretty big. That's pretty big. Special Kemi. And the Conservatives with a very limp-wristed response. Vote Reform, get Labour. Yeah, pitting his enemies against each other. Very, you know, very Dune-esque, isn't it, I would say. Reform just announced a deportation minister. Well, so actually, as we're on the topic of British politics, we might as well have a look at this as well. Nigel Farage apparently just did a stream or something about. He made a major announcement. But I mean, what is this? It is this the one? Is this it? No, that's not it. He made an announcement, but it's like an hour long. Where's the fucking you know, the short version? Where's the fucking short version?
Can be again with
attacking and smearing nationalists, which is something I complain about for a while now. Any form of criticism is met with block or a smear, and it's not acceptable. I'm not shocked about that, Steve. A lot of your followers have attacked me in the past. An awful lot of them have called me Jewish for some goddamn reason. And I don't know what you'd expect when you invite some of the frankly most insane people in Britain on board with you. Like, don't get me wrong, the Homeland Party does some decent stuff, like the Litter Pit King.
They're on the side of Israel instead of wild critics.
Right, Joe. Let's talk about Israel. Let's talk about whether you've been shilling Israel enough, Joe Rogan.
Well, I've had a few. I mean, I believe God. I'm in constantly. He talks about a lot of things that aren't in.
Oh, I'm afraid, Mr. Comedian, you have said some incorrect things about Israel, dude. It's just so crazy that he, within minutes apparently of him showing up and beginning the show, he's immediately like doing the all. You've said incorrect statements about Israel. I need to point it out. Like, dude. The Zion phobes, whatever they're called. What are they fucking called? The anti-Semites. The anti-Semites are going to go fucking ballistic with this, and I believe they already have. You know, they've been going crazy at this.
The news.
Well, I tend to talk about the
Oh, look, another XL bully went totally deranged and fucking ate his owner to death. Like, okay, dude. Why is there not a fucking chihuahua? You know, someone's pointing out in chat here, you know, about German Shepherds. Look at the statistics. The next deadliest dog is German Shepherd, and it's far below. Why do you not see all these articles about German Shepherds turning on their owner and slaughtering them? Why is it always the same breed or same types of breed that come up in these fucking articles? It's because they are way more fucking deadly and way more dangerous. Like, bro, it's complete bullshit that retards tell themselves. You know, oh, don't worry about Princess. Princess is nice. Princess is well looked up. Whoa, 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 whoa. And a fucking, like, muscly dog, massive jaw, could crush a baby's skull like that. Don't worry about Princess. Totally fucking deranged and complete nonsense. XL bully attack wonderful. Victim's death, a terrible tragedy.
Off depressed people.
Heart emoji, heart emoji.
Thank you.
Raz became a member. Raz celebrates 1 month of membership. Despite only being 13% of the canine population, they commit 50% of violent dog attacks.
Thank you for the membership. You know, and it's like, okay. God, it's fucked, man. Anyway, here's a heartwarming version of the tale, okay?
A 23-year-old woman has been killed by her own XL bully. Nicole Molly's dog is believed to have mauled her to death after she returned from celebrating her birthday. A second dog, a Staffordshire Terrier,
happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Joined in the attack. Footage has now emerged showing Maury dancing with her XL bully in her kitchen, while other videos show her hugging the dog.
It's literally got demon eyes. It's got demon red eyes, dude. It's the actual fucking demon. What the fuck? Look at it. Don't worry about Princess. Princess wouldn't hurt a fly.
23-year-old woman.
Jesus Christ, dude. Look at the eye. I missed that at the start. Look at the eyes. It's Cerebra. It's Cerebrus. It's a fucking hellhound. What the fuck, man? Okay, where are the... Dude, I need to show you these XL Bully promos. I don't know if you get these in the UK, but these are really funny. Posters... Yeah. Is this it? Yeah, dude. Yeah, these dude.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed?
I'll be on the show. Peter, I believe that you think these dogs just shouldn't exist.
Entirely, and I've been saying this for some time. Here
Let's
we
go.
are yet again discussing the utterly needless loss of yet another life. These stories are happening far too frequently. The licensing of them in the UK was a pointless exercise because you can't tell Rover not to kill someone just because he or she's been licensed. It is time now to round them up and, as humanely as can possibly be done, exterminate them.
Yes!
Right, it's a strong start.
Bro! He's talking my language. I like this old boy. Yes. This guy. I like the cut of his jib. Round them up and destroy them all. Based.
How do you respond to that?
Obliterate them.
Well, I think basis, not to mention children and others being mauled by these savage beasts. Until we round them up and exterminate this breed permanently, well, I've been calling for that for some time. My conscience will be clear the next time somebody is killed by one. I wonder if John will be able to say the same.
Okay, John, come back to that then. Peter wants to round them up and...
Right, and our competitor won't allow them to...
But how do I make money off depressed people?
My bull mastiff ex-Ridgeback kept my wife safe walking in public in a shithole suburb. She was followed by a creepy Indian and our dog, Jimbo, stared him down, growled, and then that curry left in a hurry.
Thank you for the super chat. It sounds racist, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Talk about this, okay? The main reason this is of interest to me is because Tim Pool... What is this? Okay. Tim Pool...
25 at 10 o'clock in the morning. Staley School Resource Officer Cortez.
How are you getting clearly not frail from a headshot, you racist? Okay, I don't want to go there, Stylo, okay? But I will say this. I've never seen a frail black person. Never. Literally never. The only frail people I've seen are like white old people. When was the last time you saw a frail black person? I rest my case.
That's this guy. Heard over the radio dispatch call.
Don't forget, blacks don't crack.
Stadium. Frisco PD indicates an athlete was stabbed. The suspect was reported being a black male wearing a gray hoodie and blue sweatpants. I left my office, ran across the parking lot to the...
Ethiopia. Oh, so we've got to go to extreme starvation to make the point. Yes, if black people are severely starved to the point where on the precipice of death, yes, at that point they're frail. Sure, I'll grant that. Okay, sure.
Stadium. As I entered, 2 high school age students informed me the victim was on the north end by the bleachers. I proceeded to the north end of the stadium on foot, got closer, saw the Memorial High School tent with multiple individuals. Arrived, an adult male who was on the track pointed out the suspect. The individual that was pointed out to me was a black male wearing a gray hooded sweater and dark colored Nike pants. The suspect at this point was on the track on the north end. There was a chain link fence that separated me from the suspect. The clothes that he had been wearing was placed in an evidence bag. The clothes remained in my possession.
You're obsessed.
From this point. So they're establishing the chain of custody of the evidence. So that can't be disputed later. That they were not left unattended and tampered with by some.
Check BBC off your Chud Logic bingo cards, dude. It's a meme, okay? It's a meme. I'll show you my search history. Oh, there's no BBC cuck gangbang fantasy searches, I promise.
For example, upon Carmelo being placed in a jail cell, I continued to keep possession of his clothes. I returned to my patrol car.
I've not really covered his stuff that much because I don't really care about the politics shit. But when I saw this, I was like, wretched beast in Asmongold's attic that isn't Asmongold for once. Wow, let's have a little look and see what this is all about. Yeah, that I've just finished. Another can open. I've actually got some soy sauce randomly here on the desk, so that's a bit, a bit of a... That should be in the cupboard, really. But, we all have our little foibles. Times when there's something you should put away and you don't. But this guy is... Dude, yeah, drinking when I'm getting too fucking rightoid and racist. I'm going to have a little guzzle of this and get myself back on track. That's what I'm doing when I take a break. A little guzzle of this to get some soy back in me. But yeah, emergency soy. Anyway, dude, and yeah, sure, You know, there's times where, like, you know, the dish, you got a few more dishes than you should have. You know, you should do it, whatever. Like, no one's
that's
perfect,
wonderful.
right?
But how do
That was the question. But he spoke about
Bro,
respect.
she fucking sucks. She is absolute dog shit every time I've seen her here. Like, what does she even do outside of this, first of all? And secondly, every time I've seen her here, she's just kind of been a bit shit, basically. And then on top of that as well, she's black.